Hey everybody, Sentai5 here, and welcome to another video about Once and Always. This should be a fairly simple and quick video. I just wanted to do this as like a quick refresher about where the returning Rangers have been, what they've been up to, when's the last time we saw them, and all that fun stuff before we actually catch up with them in Once and Always. For those of you who somehow don't know yet, Once and Always is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th anniversary special, and it's going to premiere on Netflix on April 19th. If you haven't seen my video covering it, please check it out. It should have appeared on the screen by now as well. We have quite the mix of characters coming in, and they're representing not just one season of MMPR, but all 3 seasons, which is really cool, and that's what really excites me a lot as well, because with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Season 1 usually gets all of that love and not the other 2 seasons. So it's nice to see this mix sort of balance that's going on right now. You know, it's perfect. And with the returning cast, there have been a few Rangers who we haven't really seen at all, at least on screen actor-wise, since they left the show in the 90s. So it's going to be really, really fun catching up with them, seeing what they've been up to in between the time they left the show up until the very special. Even though we haven't gotten a full team of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers out of suit, we have had the Mighty Morphin team appear in Legendary Battle and Grid Connection. Let's get on to the actual part of this video. So let's just talk about the Rangers real quick who are returning. I'm going to be starting with some of the Rangers that we've already seen on screen already, and starting with Rocky. He was last seen in Dimensions in Danger. Even though he didn't get that much screen time, he was kidnapped by Lord Draven, and he had robot Rangers based on him. We didn't really get any info on what Rocky had been doing in between Turbo and Ninja Steel, but when we last saw him in Turbo, he said he was planning on opening up a karate school. So it could be assumed that's what he's been doing in between, but as you know, with people and life as it is, not everything always stays the same. Sometimes things change, times change, people change even. So hopefully we get a look at what he's been doing. Next up is Catherine, and she was also seen in Dimensions in Danger, who was also kidnapped by Lord Draven, and she returned surprisingly as the Pink Turbo Ranger. Some of you may or may not know, she is Tommy's wife. They were seen leaving together holding hands at the end of Dimensions in Danger, and they have a son named JJ. This is also reiterated in the Soul of the Dragon comic as well. And I know some people don't really consider that within the continuity of the show, but it still is intended to, you know, wrap up Tommy's story and whatnot. Also, throughout Zeo and Turbo, she was in a relationship with Tommy as well, so it still fits. It's also worth noting that she was working as a teacher as well, just like Tommy, in the Soul of the Dragon comic, so maybe that's what she's actually doing in the TV show universe as well. But also, A Season to Remember shows that her and Tommy end up growing old together as they have grandchildren. So if you're still in denial, I don't know what to really tell you. Also, before I forget to mention, when Catherine left during Turbo, she left to go become a dancer in London, I believe. So sometime in between that, and if some of the things follow Soul of the Dragon, then she must have been a teacher somewhere in between, or maybe in the TV show universe she's still a dancer. Moving on to Adam. We last saw him in the 2-part 15th anniversary team-up, Once a Ranger, and he led the Retro Rangers, because obviously he's Adam, he's the most experienced out of the returning Rangers, and he was just so kick-ass in that team-up. At the end of that team-up, he mentioned that he's going to be taking Alpha 6, who had just returned for that team-up as well, back to his dojo to help out. So he set that up sometime in between In Space and Operation Overdrive, because we last saw him in Power Rangers in Space is Always a Chance. And in Turbo, he was coaching the Angel Grove soccer team, and he was also being a stuntman as well. So maybe he's doing a combination of all these things, but we know he eventually joins SPA by the time we see him in Once and Always, so there's that for Adam so far. Next up is Aisha. We haven't seen her literally since Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Alien Rangers, so it's going to be great catching up with her, seeing what she's been up to. When we last saw her, she was a child on her Zeo quest, where she met Tanya, who would eventually replace her as the next Yellow Ranger, as she gives her Zeo subcrystal, and she stays behind in Africa to help the wildlife, thus altering her family's history. But that wasn't the last time we had heard from Aisha. In Zeo, she sends a package to Tanya containing a map to where her parents were last seen with a key to a tiki which would eventually become Auric the Conqueror. And I know people don't really consider Hyperforce to be in the continuity of the show. Whatever, that's fine, it doesn't matter to me. But it's worth noting and mentioning that that's not the last time we see Aisha, as Karen Ashley plays her for 2 more episodes. One where the Hyperforce team travels back to 1994 and she helps them fight off Scorpina, and then again in the finale when she returns with a bunch of other legendary rangers. But as we all know, by the time of Once and Always, she is part of SPA, and what she's doing there we don't exactly know just yet, but I have a pretty good feeling, or at least a decent feeling, that her and Adam are ranger instructors training the next generation of Power Rangers. Possibly for SPD or something else. Who knows? But that's that for Aisha, and I cannot wait to see her back. Next up, we have the Zack Man. And honestly, I'm also really excited to see him as well, because we have not seen him since he gave his powers to Adam in the Season 2 episode, The Power Transfer, where he ended up going to a peace conference. And ever since then, we have no idea what he's been up to, so I cannot wait to find out what he's been doing in the last 29 years. But if you follow the comics, you know that the whole peace conference thing was actually a hoax, and that he actually went into space and he became the Black Omega Ranger, going on all sorts of adventures throughout space, fighting a lot of universal ending threats along the way. But that's a whole different universe, but it's still a lot of fun mentioning that, because it's still, you know, gives an idea of sorts, or at least the possibility that he could have been doing some Ranger stuff in between his departure and Once and Always. So I cannot wait to see what he's been doing in all those years. Maybe he started a hip-hop keto school or something. I don't know, but there's so many different possibilities. Finally, last but certainly not least, Billy Cranston. We last saw him in Zeo, where he left for Aquitar because he was aging so rapidly because of the effects of aging up from a kid during the whole Orb of Doom crisis in Zeo Quest. So he eventually becomes an old man during the Alien Ranger team-up, and he has to go to Aquitar to basically heal himself of this rapid aging, otherwise he's gonna die at a very young age. And it eventually works, and in the process he falls in love with an Aquitian named Sestria, and that's the last we ever see him face to face on screen, given that was archive footage. And this is really exciting to see David Yost come back to Power Rangers, because it has been so long, and the way he left Power Rangers is very heartbreaking and so frustrating at the same time due to how he was treated behind the scenes on set. So he just looks really happy to come back, and I can't wait to find out what he's been doing on Aquitar when he came back to Earth, because obviously he came back during Super Mega Force's legendary battle and also during Grid Connection. We gotta see what's been going on, what he's been cooking up. Is he married to Sestria? Do they have half Aquitian, half human children? I can't wait. He's like one of the biggest mysteries, and I'm glad it's about to be solved in Once and Always. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I just wanted to do like a quick refresher on where everybody's been and what they've been up to so far, based on what information we have from the show and other mediums, to give a sense of possibilities. Basically, we don't know exactly what some of them have been up to, so this is just something for fun that I wanted to do. Seeing Walter just share the screen with Steve, Catherine, Karen, and Johnny for the first time ever is going to be pretty mind-blowing for me. And it's not like this is his first time meeting them either, because as you all know, they've all done conventions together so many times over the years. So this is just, I don't know, this is going to be something special. I can feel it. The whole look and overall feel. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And I hope you all stay safe, be well, and I will see you all next time.